Welcome back, everybody. Another one of my previously built model series. Today we're going to be looking at, if you haven't seen it, the previous video I did the Mosquito. There'll be a link at the top. It was one I had done about 20 years ago, kind of the beginning of my modern build ability, when I really put the effort into making sure these models looked really good when they were finished. This model is something very similar to that. It was one that I had started to build, realized I couldn't really do what I wanted, I put it away, and then once, you know, a couple of years later when I really got into, especially when I finished the Mosquito and there was a Spitfire I did as well, I'll link a link to the Spitfire here as well, the Mark V that was kind of built at the exact same time as that Mosquito. And once I got those done, I got really comfortable doing things like airbrush and weathering and all that kind of stuff. I came back and finished this model. And I'll show you what that model is in a second, but before we get too far into it, my name is Sean and this is Sean's Aviation. So just quickly, before we jump into the model, I want to thank everybody for being here to watch this video. All of you out there who are watching this channel, helping it grow, are a big help to all of this. And if you haven't yet, and you do like what you're seeing, please go down below, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to get notified when more videos come out. I try to release a few videos a month. As well, if you'd like to kind of contribute in a bit more of a concrete way, down below you'll see a link. You can basically go and buy me a coffee. I almost always have a coffee cup going. I have one here. I'm drinking it now. So if you guys would like to help me out, buy me a coffee, by all means. It is not obligated. There's no obligation at all. If you don't, you don't. I'm not going to, you know, get mad at everybody for not financially supporting me. That's not the point of this channel. But for those of you out there who do want to help me in any way, offset some of my costs, by all means, buy me a coffee. And on that note, let's move on to the video. So as I stated just a few seconds ago in the intro, this was a model that I had started to build, realized it was a bit beyond my skills, put it away. I started working on the Mosquito, which I linked to earlier, and the Spitfire, and I got comfortable using airbrushing, and a couple of years later I went back and finished it. And this model is the Tamiya 1/48 scale Beaufighter. Now this is actually the, how do they call it, the TF Mark 10, a Torpedo Fighter Mark 10. And I had built it up, I had done a lot, it was done more or less assembled, and I had painted it by brush. And it looked like crap. And I had attempted a few things, and it really didn't turn out the way I wanted. So I ended up stripping it down, and then I kind of got, you know what, I'm way too into this. I wasn't really feeling it. It went in a box. Life moved on. I ended up working on, like I said, those Mosquitoes, the Spitfire. This was before I also had a massive, you know, stash of unbuilt models in the closet. I was just out of high school, didn't have a lot of money. You know, investing $40, $50 in a model was a huge expense that I really couldn't afford at the time. So I decided to pull this out and give it another shot. So I kind of took what I had, cleaned it up a little bit, modified a few little things that I didn't like, and basically finished it off. The base of the kit is more or less still brush painted. The dark gray is brush painted. I masked and painted the invasion stripes. That's all paint, and then I decaled it. I went ahead and added the late model rudder strake and the radar nose and everything up front. And the one thing I did do, if you look, because I actually added it after I painted the model, I decided to do this. It's a slightly different shade of gray. And that's actually, I'll zoom in here a bit so you can actually see what I'm pointing out. If you look, the rudder strake is actually a different shade of gray from the rest of it. It's slightly darker. And there's all of this overpaint. Well, I actually did that on purpose. And my mentality was, well, if they field modified this, right, they would have just quickly painted it and moved on, and as the original paint had faded, the new paint would have been darker, and the overpaint was actually supposed to be there from overpaint from World War II. Now, this is one of those kits that really hasn't held up over time. The paint job looks like crap. The flat coat I used, it was a monogram spray can, and it orange peeled on me. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll try to get a little bit of like sideways light. and you guys, I don't know if you guys can see the orange peely effect that's happening on the paint surface. It started to yellow over time. The paint looks really thick. It was, I believe, Tamiya paint that I brush painted. The weathering was all just dry brushed on, because this was before, I painted this before I had access to an airbrush. So the paint job was crap. But I decided, you know what, I needed to get it finished, so I did what I had to do to get it out. Like the gear doors are a different shade. It's a mix match kind of, because I built it, didn't like it, put it away, brought it back out, did a bit more work on it, tried to finish it off. It's not looking the best, but I'm still leaving it on the shelf because, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm still a 3-foot modeler. Most people don't get as close as what even I am right now. They're looking at it from a distance. So it still looks good. It looks like it's been used and abused, over the North Sea or something. So I'm not terribly worried with it. Not my best skill, but, you take what you take. I think the doors, see, I didn't even paint inside of here where all the putty was. I think I glued the front one in, but this back one is still operational, so to speak. But it's not looking too good. So I leave it. It's not my best, but it kind of it's the beginning of the current level of building. Where, like I said, I used as a kid, honestly. You're talking early teens into high school. I ran out. I'd buy a kit on a Friday, and by Sunday night it was done. I spent all weekend just slamming it together, and it was finished. And it looked like that's what I did. It looked like I threw it together in a weekend. You know what I mean? I wasn't taking the time. That Mosquito and the Spitfire were kind of the first kits where I really stopped, took my time, tried a few techniques, tried to make it look good. This is that prototype model where I knew what I wanted, but I didn't have the skill to execute it, and it shows. But I keep it just for that it's a piece of my history, and it still looks okay, so I keep it. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up this video here. This is the Tamiya 1/48 scale Beaufighter TFMkX, and it is a crap model that I built horribly. The model itself is good. I don't want to knock it. The model itself is good. I did not build it very well, and it shows. But here it is. So on that note, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, if you are interested in any of the content you see, you can access my website at www.seans-aviation.com. You can see all the latest pictures of aircraft and museums and the build logs of all of my current models and past models on that site. And if you're interested in any of this content, please click the subscribe button here on YouTube to follow more. Thank you very much, and see you guys next time.